For being with us.
Thank you.
As people tell us all the time, man, you look better in person. You're in great shape.
I appreciate that, yeah.
A very dapper
Thanks for coming.
trio here. All right, so Tim, set the table for us a little bit. What should we expect from the U.S. women's national team heading into the tournament?
Well, I'm expecting them to win the cup. I mean, I think everybody here is. They're betting underdogs. I think they got France at the top, but I think that our girls are going to enjoy that. You know, I think they believe they're the best, and to be able to hopefully play France on their home soil would be something special.
We know a lot of the big names, excuse me, Nick, on our team. I mean, they're loaded. They're stacked.
Yep.
Carly Lloyd, one of the stars from last Cup, she's a reserve.
Yep.
That lets you know the depth. Give me one name, though, because typically you get in a competition like this, you need someone that is kind of the catalyst for the energy. Who do you see that you would like to see play well, that you would know, okay, if they play well, that leads to USA playing well?
Well, it seems like all the women are a household name, right? So I won't be able to give you anybody you haven't heard of, but Julie Ertz, to me, is the engine of that team. She's the glue. For all the women who are the spectacular players and the goal scorers and they get all the headlines, Julie, for me, is the engine. She works tirelessly in the midfield. When you see her, she comes off her shorts, her socks, her jersey's dirty, and she's done the tough work. And I think that ultimately pushes you over the edge when you have big tournaments.
What's the biggest difference between this Women's World Cup team and the team from the 2015 World Cup? Because I know a lot of our viewers, probably the last time they watched closely our women's national team was 4 years ago. What's the biggest difference?
Well, I think that our big players have gotten older. Naturally, you see that in a World Cup cycle, right? As you said, Carly Lloyd, who at one time was best player in the world, is what a great reserve to come off the bench. And so, you know, our big guns are a little bit older and wiser, and I genuinely think that experience will carry us.
You mentioned Carly Lloyd. How much are you expecting from her?
Well, it seems like every time I watch the women and she comes off the bench, it's like with her first one or two touches, she's creating something, whether it's a goal or an assist. And that helps you as a teammate, but when she's standing on the sideline getting ready to come in, the other team sees it as well, and they got tired legs. It's the 80th minute, and they're thinking, here we go again. So she's got goals in her. We know that, and the fresh legs help.
You guys were talking before the segment started. There's a lot of goalkeeper blood on that side of the table. Chris's daughter was a Division I goalkeeper at Florida State. You obviously were the best goalkeeper in U.S. national team history. The women are losing, I think, their best goalkeeper in U.S. national team history. The switch over there, Hope Solo is being replaced by Alyssa Naher. Explain the pressure on her and what we can expect from her.
Alyssa's done well to come in because big shoes to fill. Brianna Scurry was the world's best, and Hope Solo was the world's best, so it's a long line. But I've seen her play with her club team. I've seen her play a bunch with the national team over the last couple of years. She's ready to make a splash on the stage. I think in order to win a World Cup, you have to have your goalkeeper playing lights out. And she has the ability to do that sometimes when you play on the women's national team. You don't always get the opportunity because they are so dominant, but she'll be able to earn her money in this tournament.
Give us a couple of other strong contenders to either root for or to watch, or you know is going to be there in the end.
Well, look, the obvious ones are Germany and France, right? I watched Argentina yesterday have a massive 0-0 draw, but you could see the passion. They're rolling around on the ground afterwards, hugging each other because this was just such a massive
We do that after shows, so I just want to make sure we're on this. Okay, so that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
So,
okay, so Argentina.
Yeah, I like Argentina. You know, as a dark horse, they're not going to win the tournament. But again, their ability to stay compact behind the ball, hit the other teams on the break. For me, I thought it was exciting to watch, especially in these tournaments. As long as the underdog doesn't beat the U.S., I'm rooting for the underdog.
We don't know exactly how the draw is going to go because it depends on how you do in your group stage. But we could be looking at a matchup against France, not in the final, not in the semifinal, but in the round of 16 potentially. How much in a World Cup setting does home field matter? Does the fact that France is going to have the country on their side in that setting matter?
It's the biggest home field advantage ever, particularly when it's the World Cup, because an entire nation will just stop. And they'll root for their team outside the hotel, outside the restaurants, in the stadium. But again, I think our women are going to relish that. I think they got a chip on their shoulder for people not picking them to be the best. So to upset France in France doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, if you can't be at the World Cup, best city to watch a World Cup in is New York.
Oh,
I mean, these streets are crazy. Thanks for joining us. World class act.
So
Will Alyssa Naher have as many saves in the whole tournament as you did in that game against Belgium?
I hope she doesn't have to do
Right,
that.
right. Just getting peppered. Great to see you, man.
Coverage today begins at 2 Eastern. Tune in. It's going to be fun.